and gents, how are you? I'm back for another video. As you can see here, so basically I had a tie between the decision of an FTMO update or a trade recap, but I'm going to do a bit of both. So once I have had a really nice trade that is already uploaded in my Telegram channel, I'm going to do a recap about that, and I'm going to give you a quick glance of what's happening with my current challenge of FTMO. So if you want to know everything about it, sit really comfortable because the show is about to get started. Woo! Lego! Hello everyone, so if you're new to this channel, my name is Tatiana and I created this channel, Taty Forex, to bring you full transparency about what Forex is, how we struggle trying to improve and evolve in this industry, and the steps I'm going to take one after another to achieve my main goal, which is trading a personal account of 100k. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please revisit my first video where I tell you everything about my journey and the steps I want to take to achieve that final goal. Sorry, allergies. Regarding my FTMO, I'm not going to show you the metrics or yet. I've decided not to share it in my Instagram because I wanted to understand if sharing on social media was the cause for some failures. And I'm going to tell you one thing, it's not. I'm currently on a severe drawdown, plus 9%. So, and my challenge ends on the 27th. Is it still possible to recover from it? Yeah, well, yes, it is. I've made some math. I only have €100 at this time to spend. Yeah, severe drawdown. Because the only thing I need for this to work, it's sticking to my plan, sticking to my risk management. And that's what I'm not doing. But yeah, I'm not worried. It's 1K. If I lose this channel, is 1K that I lose. But it's not going to be a problem. The only problem is I'm going to get married, so I will not be able to apply for a new challenge before the marriage. Don't get married. It's so expensive. So yeah, I will only be able to apply for a new challenge if I fail this one after the wedding. And if I don't fail this one and I manage a retrial, which is in fact my mainly goal at the moment, if I manage a retrial, I'll wait until the end, until I get married. So I'll wait one more month to start again the challenge. This is just a matter of time. So we try, we fail, we try, we get a retrial or whatever. But this is just as a long run. This is not going to shake me. This is not going to beat me. Lessons were learned and I'm just going to do my best. So yeah. With all this said, I think you're updated regarding the FTMO. At the moment, I'm feeling very, very good because I can share with you all my losses and I can share with you all my journey and don't feel the pressure of being whoever I am, wherever I am. Now I'm just an independent trader. I'm not associated with any kind of brand or whatever, so I can really be honest and don't feel any pressure about it. The only reason I didn't share with you my results on FTMO or my FTMO challenge was actually because I thought, because many people were saying to me that it will cause you extra pressure and you may fail because of that and the energies and the toxic vibrations and whatever. And I was thinking, well, maybe you're right. So I will not share this one. But I didn't feel that at all. I didn't feel that. And even if I'm going to get a retrial from this, or I need to apply to a new challenge, I'm going to share with you exactly as I did on the challenge before that I failed because of the max daily drawdown. I know it's crazy. But yeah, I'm going to share with you every single thing from day one and even share with you document, a spreadsheet of all the trades I take with the, are you seeing Tokyo playing at the back? Look, it's her. So yeah, I'm going to share you everything because this was actually a very good experience to understand that it's not the fact that I share in social media that will affect my performance. Even the opposite, because to be completely honest with you, when I share my profits and when I share my progress on the challenge with you, I feel accountable. I feel the need to perform the best I can and the best I am, because you are all watching me. So that's what I'll do. Whew. Let's get to the trade I took. So 1 second. Cool. Amazing. So yeah, basically this was a trade I shared it all with all of you, and now I'm going to explain you why I take this trade and the whole story. So what should we start with is we should start with the high time frames. By the way, if you're looking at my folders and you're wondering how I organize my folders and my drawings, take a look at this video, probably here. Take a look at this video here at the top and you will understand how to organize your charts, and I've been told that it's life-changing. Okay, so when we take a look at daily, we see price reacting to a supply, and we know that price from here, once it's still inside premium zone, this is all, by the way, this is all updated on my Telegram channel, okay? If you want to take a look, just take a look at it. It's down in the description, just click it and subscribe. So yeah, when we take a look at daily, we tapped a daily supply, but we had a very strong push from the extreme of the 17th, that it's both a daily and a 4-hour demand. So we were expecting a higher reaction, like a deeper pullback. So here we may even have a reaction from here and then get another break of structure. Yeah, that can happen because we didn't understand premium. But then when you take a look at the 4-hour, we understand that we are, first of all, we are in the discounted zone, right? So we are in a good zone to long. Why didn't I target, for instance, this extreme once price could still come here? Well, basically because, yeah, so basically here we had a reaction to the supply that was actually a buy to sell, not this one, because this was just an inducement. We need to understand also that supply has been failing. So, and we had a very strong bullish momentum kicking in, especially from here. So we may still see higher prices. But this was the supply from the unmitigated, the supply chain. So price created this chain and mitigated all this, also created this liquidity, of course, and it could get ran. But this was the supply from this chain, the unmitigated supply from this chain, right? We see that this wick was left unmitigated. Price mitigated that, caused a change of character, mitigates the supply again, the demand, yeah, the supply again. It's important to understand that price came to revisit the whole buy to sell movement. And so now we are expecting price to tap this supply over here, right? So if we are expecting price to tap the supply over here because we've been having internal breaks of structure, and we may be expecting price to also tap this demand where the bullish momentum really kicked in. And if we are still inside a discounted zone, we may see some nice opportunities to continuing long. So basically when we go to the 15-minute, what do we understand? Well, we understand that on the 15-minute, we're still bearish. Yeah, it's important to understand that this idea is counter trend. Yes, it is. But the thing is, actually take a look. Let's see the story that price has been telling us. And this is very important. So basically what happened is, so we see all these purple boxes, you know, those are supplies already, right? And what do we see? We see price coming to tap this supply over here. And then we see price actually sweeping this liquidity below here, right? And let's talk a bit about liquidity. How do I consider sweeping liquidity? Well, liquidity is where a lot of stacked orders are, right? So either from retail traders or whatever, where many stop losses are. So let's imagine we have a movement like this, right? Where would be the stop losses from the people that are longing, yeah, taking long positions? Well, stop losses here, yeah? We all know trend lines, we all know support and resistance, we've been there. So we know that many of those traders that are still there put their stop losses here. Even us, when we take longs, we usually put our stop losses below a low when we're going to take some buys, right? So this is exactly what happened here. So let's take a look at the charts to understand it. Going to the 15-minute. Let me put structure and unmitigated here. What happened here was, if we draw what price did, is like price did this, then 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 did this, right? Let me not confuse you. I'm going to focus on the last movement here, okay? So where is liquidity here in order to understand? Well, for me, price has to trade below the candle before and above the candle that traded below, so the candle that created that new low, to consider it liquidity. What do I say with that? Is, for instance, for me, there's no liquidity in this movement here. Why? Because this candle here never traded below like the previous one. Let's take a look at this case here. It's completely different, right? Why? Because price created a higher high, right? Then this candle trades below. And you say, oh, Tatiana, but the minimum value of the candle didn't trade it below. Yeah, the minimum didn't, but the high did, right? So I only need one of them to trade. It's exactly like to consider the chalk, right? So let's look at candles as price, okay? This is the price that this candle traded. Imagine that this is $200, right? If the candle after this, the high of the candle after this, it doesn't matter if it's a bearish or bullish candle, yeah, but if the candle after this trades like this, even if it's an inside bar, it's probably $180, okay? So this means that this candle traded below the previous one. And here we're talking about bullish momentum, right? Price created a higher high, then created a high low, and then boom, kicked in, right? So what happens is, for me, this candle, so there was liquidity here, and this candle swept the liquidity here. So turning this not only into a high probability demand because it caused the failure of this supply, right? It caused the failure of this supply. This is the last sell to buy. What is a sell to buy? It's like a movement where the price is pushed below and then pushed higher. And so this was the last demand that caused the failure of the supply and also swept the liquidity, all this liquidity below here, okay? So turning it into a high probability demand. And that's why I was taking a look at it. So when price tapped it, another thing that is important also is to understand that we were in the discounted zone, okay? We were in the discounted zone. My high was there. My high was here, okay? If you see here, we are exactly in the discounted zone. So yeah, this is just considering the move again. So let's put it, yeah, my high was here and that's it. So if we are in the discounted zone, we are in a good zone to long. And to add to this specific demand over here, to add it high probability thing, look at this. We have inducement. So we have a lot of orders here that price can still come, take all this money from the people that bought here, and then only after that continuing long. So when I arrived at the charts in the morning, price was around, it was 7 a.m., right? So it was around here. Well, it was not 7 a.m., it was 6:30. So yeah, let's put it here. As you see on my Telegram channel, I consider this cause for this demand below. Why? Well, because price has not been mitigating, like doing a very clear supply demand chain, right? Look, even if we consider the whole sell to buy movement, it never tapped this zone, leaving inducement here, right? And then it was now tapping this zone, but once price was touching a supply, we were expecting lower prices. And now you say, oh, Tatiana, why weren't you looking for shorts here? Well, because for me to consider a 15-minute chalk here, it would be only here after this, right? Because if we see here, price never took these highs. If price never took the highs, well, then my chalk is here below, right? So I could be looking for continuations to short here, but we need to understand where are we and where we've come from. Look at how the momentum here, price took exactly 16 hours to go up with this strong bullish momentum, and it took 20 hours to come down. So where is the strength at the moment? For me, it should be where the price is taking less time to go. So yeah, I was willing to take it along here. Why? Especially because we are having confirmation after confirmation. We swept this liquidity over here, right? It was swept. We were tapping this important demand that is a sell to buy that caused the supply failure of a 15-minute zone and that has an inducement before the POI. And actually, we have a 15-minute change of character coming from it. So we have a confirmation on a high probability zone that price can be wanting to go further. So above all this, where would I be entering? Well, I wouldn't be entering in the middle because price is just tapping a supply and it could melt from here. I want to enter from the extreme. So I consider this wick mitigated with these, and then I consider this sell to buy mitigated with this. And so I can consider this whole sell to buy as a zone. Now you can say, oh, Tatiana, why did you select these two instead of just this one? Well, because I wanted to take the whole sell to buy before the kick in, right? Before the movement that actually caused the failure of this supply over here, right? Because it failed here. We have also, price could tap this and continued further. Okay, this is also a sell to buy that caused the failure. But this can also be considered as equal lows and then liquidity for below. So we have all these calls for lower prices and we have these equal lows. And we need to be patient to wait for high probability trades because the extreme will always be the zone that's more probabilistically in our favor. So yeah, what did I do? Well, I just waited for price to tap this zone. When price tapped my zone, I went into the 1 minute. If I was waiting for this extreme refined and I didn't enter and in long, no problem. There's no problem at all. You were waiting for a refined zone, a smaller zone, and you wanted that to be mitigated to go higher. That's okay. If you look at my outlook, I was waiting for this zone since 6:37. That it was when I sent the outlook, and you can see that it's not even edited, so it was exactly the outlook I sent you. And so when I went to the 1 minute to understand what was going on, I needed further confluences because let's be real, this is a counter trend trade. We are touching a 15-minute supply. So yeah, the question is, were these supplies relevant and important? Well, for me, not until it was going to be the failure of this specific demand that we were looking for. When I went to the 1 minute, what happened? Well, I wanted to have confirmations here, right? So if I wanted to have confirmations here, well, either I wanted this low to go and then this high to go, right? To have a chalk. Or if there's no new low, my confirmation, my change of character, change of order flow will only be here. So when we take a look at what happened is that we broke this high, but we never broke this low. So there's not a valid chalk. Would I be willing to be interested in longing here? Well, there's no need. It's not part of my plan. I need a change of character. So yeah, that was an RSI if you wanted to follow this demand chain. But until there was a clear failure, I was not interested. So I just waited. And here's my chalk. Okay, now I have a change of character, and now I have a supply failure, right? Now, is there a possibility for us to take a long here? It's important to understand. Is there a possibility? Well, to be completely honest, there is. Why? Especially because if you see all these candles are mitigated with the one afterwards, right? Did this candle touch this candle price? Yes, it did. Did this candle touch this candle price? Yes, it did. And so on, so on, so on. Even this one, this was not mitigated by this bullish candle, but it was mitigated by this, right? So it touched, boom, mitigated. So we could actually take a long here, like even after, right after that failure. But what I want to see is that I want to see either price sweeping liquidity or leaving inducement and to play the decisional, right? For me, this is the decisional, and for me, this is the extreme, right? This is still the extreme that price can still come to it to then continue higher. But if we see, look, we never swept the liquidity below this candle. If we swept the liquidity below this candle, I would be interested in taking along here, but we never. So if we never did it, well, there's no opportunity for me to get long here. Price comes to it, price taps it, price continues, but for me, there was no opportunity to get in here, okay? It is an opportunity if you don't need a sweep of liquidity or inducement, you just need a supply failure and a chalk. Well, yeah, but you can get caught up in the middle of the decisionals pretty often if you don't add other confluences, okay? So yeah, price was doing what it was doing, and now I am interested in taking some continuations. Price could always come to the extreme, that's always a possibility. But once this demand was mitigated and it had a nice reaction, it would be okay for me to take a trade, even if it's not coming to the extreme, okay? So when we see here strong reaction to something, okay, we need to understand, okay, what did this react to, okay? So if we see here below, this reacted to this whole buy to sell, okay? This one here reacted to this whole buy to sell. But when we're taking continuation from the 1 minute, it's best for us to have smaller zones and understand what it's reacting to. Well, we see that price came to revisit this buy to sell, right? It was mitigated already. Price tapped it one more time. It swept the liquidity. You asked me, oh, Tatiana, why did you select that one? Well, because if you see, this was the movement that caused also the failure of this demand over here. You see, look. Price came to it, tapped, mitigated, lots of liquidity come up, and then boom, melted, okay? So this is actually the extreme, the highest point before the failure of the demand. So when price taps this here, I'm waiting for this zone to fail, right? Let's put it as a supply. Price came all the way down, boom. And ultimately it failed, okay? So now what do we have? Well, for me, we have a chain, a demand chain being followed. Oh, sorry. A demand chain being followed. Why? Because price is mitigating, and left this one unmitigated. So this is the extreme that caused the failure of this supply over here, right? Caused the failure. So now I'm interested in taking a long continuation here from this demand. It is important to understand that here I waited for further confluences. Why? Because this is counter trend, right? So I waited for a confirmation entry coming from this zone. Could you potentially be longing here like this? Yeah, for sure. You could have just put it here, 3 pip stop loss, and continue all the way up. Why did I wait for confirmation? It is counter trend, and also there are wicks here below that price could still mitigate before going, right? For instance, this wick over here was left unmitigated. So price could still use all this as liquidity to mitigate this extreme and then go up. And we still have this extreme below. So if we want to increase the probabilities, the max we can, we wait for further confirmation. And what do? Well, we wait for mitigation. Price tapped it. The ones that put here a risk entry, price tapped your risk entry already. Me, well, I waited for a confirmation. Where would be my confirmation? Well, this is an inside bar. So we know that the chocks are usually in inside bars. Look, this is exactly where my chalk is, and also my last point of supply, because this was a buy to sell, right? A buy to sell is a supply. So I want to see this failing before getting involved in this long. What happened? Boom, it failed. Where would be my entry? Well, this decisional is not an enough pullback for me to be interested on this one. So I'm interested on taking a long from this new extreme that caused the failure of this supply. I set my limit. It's very rare that I do market execution. So yeah, I set my limit, way less stressful. It can be either with a 2 pip stop loss or a 1 to 5 pip stop loss. And then where was my target? Important to understand. Where was my target? Well, we have this supply over here, right? That price could mitigate and then continuing short. But we need to understand that was this supply strong enough to cause a new low from this internal range? It wasn't. So for me, I targeted this supply over here, because this supply, if we see, there's a low here, price came all the way up and boom, it broke, right? So here, there's not that, because the low is here, price came up and it didn't break this low. So that's why I targeted this supply. But it's completely doable if you wanted to be careful because it's a counter trend and you just targeted this supply over here. No problem at all. Remember, we just need to keep putting money in our pocket consistently. It's like those things where you put money. What do you call it? Wait a second. I'm kicking the grammar. Piggy bank is what you call it. I was going to say that piggy box. Well, piggy bank. It's like that piggy bank, right? So you're putting coins there day after day, day after day after day. And why put 50 euros today if you'll need those 20 euros tomorrow and you'll take them away? Well, just put 30 and assure that you're going to keep that, right? So if you're concerned about the supply, well, just target that supply. Hello, my name is Tokyo and I'm so cute. Lucky suffers a bit with me. But I also suffer with her. I could show you all the marks that she's doing to me, but, well, continuing. So it's completely doable, because if you take a look at the take profit for this supply, so this one, and this happens a lot, you know, like confirmation entry. So this was the risk entry, the first one here, right? This first was the risk entry, and this was the confirmation entry. This second trade, and normally, usually the confirmation entries gives us better RR than the risk entries. So we always need to understand when should we take the risk entry and why. Okay, after this, what happened? Well, risk-free would be here, right? It's always important to know where would be the risk-free. Here would be my risk-free. So the moment price taps my entry and goes all the way up, I will be happy to take a continuation. Okay, let's see what happened. Boom, I'm in. I'm all in. And I'm risk-free already, right? Cool, amazing. Let me see what's happening next. Okay, so no reaction to this supply over here, which is not a very significant supply, but no reaction to it. And now let's see where price is. So talking about that supply over there, price just tapped that supply over there, right? And when price tapped that supply over there, it failed. Boom. So will I be interested in taking a long here? Well, yes, you can. But it's important to understand why did I wait for confirmation entry from here? First of all, let's take in consideration that we are counter trend, right? Higher time frames are, how could I say, bearish, right? So, and if we take a look at the 15 minutes, so purple means premium, right? If purple means premium, well, I'm in a better zone to short. So if I'm in a better zone to short, I want to have further confirmation that price wants to go higher. So why rush? Well, just wait for a confirmation entry coming from this demand that caused the failure of this supply, right? So this supply failed. So I want confirmation entry. I want a confirmation entry from here. We have inducement here, so you could have been taking this decision if you didn't wait for confirmation because it has inducement. And that's okay, that's doable. If you take this loss, that's not a big deal. But again, why didn't I take it? Premium of the 15-minute and counter trend. So I waited for confirmation. Boom, no confirmation here for me. I didn't take this trade. As simple as that. Then price continued. Price revisited this zone, and I was saying, okay, let me see if price is going to take this zone. But why wasn't I interested in taking longs here? Well, because it actually didn't react to something very significant, right? Like, in my opinion, if it was this over here, that would be different because it was before a very strong bearish candle, but this one didn't react. So I just waited. Boom, it failed. And now what do we have? Well, actually, we don't have nothing. What is the demand that we may be looking to long? This one, right? Or also this, which actually is the unmitigated extreme coming from this demand chain, right? And if we see this unmitigated extreme, we may also take this as liquidity for this, right? So we have these two zones that price can come back to. Let's see what it does. Why not putting a risk entry here? Well, I would be more interested in putting a risk entry here than here because this can be used as inducement for the zone below. So I waited for confirmation entry from a demand again. And you say, oh, Tatiana, you just stick looking at the 1 minute. Well, I just put price alerts on the zones that I think are good to look for, right? And like, what did we take? We took like 2 hours working and looking consistently on price. Was that a lot? Well, I don't think so. Sometimes when we are like in a normal job, we spend 4 hours doing other thing, and yeah. So what happened here? Well, price tapped the demand, right? And we may still have a deeper demand. So if it has a deeper demand, it will take this low. But until this low goes, this low over here goes, until this low goes, right? My chalk is here. And also my supply to fail is here. So I waited for price and boom, it failed, right? So if it failed, for me, what is the unmitigated extreme? Well, this is the unmitigated extreme. This week over here. I see this movement as inducement for the one below. I always, if you see, I always like to take entries from the extremes. Once I had a text saying here, play the unmitigated extreme, and only after I noticed how long I took, I had a text saying, play unmitigated. It didn't have an N, so it was unmitigated. It was you mitigated. Well, whatever. So yeah, I always like to take the entries from the extreme. Another long here. Using this week actually as inducement for the mitigation, as you can see. And you say, oh, Taty, price could use this as a mitigation of this sell to buy and tap, and tap the this one again, this one here, and continue. Well, yes, it could. I would lose the momentum. No worries at all. I wouldn't be worried about losing the momentum if price doesn't come to the extreme, because I know, and from that I gathered, that unmitigated extremes are the high probabilistic zones. So this was my target. I already explained why. And this again, it's up to you. On this one, you can put 10R because it's like a continuation and you would bank those 10R, or you can put again the same target. It's up to you, okay? Oh, sorry. This was the one I entered. This was just the risk entry I didn't take. This is 33. It's not the same as my outlook because I used a 2-pip stop loss. That's why it's 25 or 24. Yeah, 24.9. It's almost 25, and here 20. Okay. So yeah, and then what happened? Easy. Let's put play. There it goes. Could you be interested in taking another continuation here? Pause, pause, pause. Pause. Okay. Could you be interested in taking another continuation here? Well, actually, there is a possibility for you to enter here. But the problem here is that I didn't have confirmation entry from this that could let me play the confirmation, right? Because I'm only playing confirmation entries because I'm already inside the, how do I call it? The premium zone, and this is counter trend. So if you see, look, we took these lows, right? And we could consider this as a chalk and also supply failure. But price never came to the extreme to tap it. Price decided to take the decisional and continue, okay? So it mitigated the decisional, the last sell to buy that caused the failure of this supply over here. And it decided to go. And I actually thought that this was going to be used as inducement for this zone, but well, it didn't. And yeah, this is what happened. Let's put play. Price came all the way up. Boom, 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 boom. And as you see, it actually caused a break of structure on the 15 minutes. It's nice. It was a nice trade. Could you be potentially targeting Brazilian R? Well, yes, you can. It's up to you. For me, this was more than enough for a day. And that let me also recover a bit because my drawdown was even more severe than this. Talking about my FTMO, I managed to recover like to 5% drawdown, but then I lost it again. It's all due to psychology. Really, really, really all due to psychology. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll keep you updated with more Please write down in the comments if you're liking it, if you're enjoying my content. Pray for me to smash this challenge, but don't worry, because I will not feel devastated or whatever if it's not my time, because as I've been telling you, I know my time will come. The only thing I don't know is when. So I'll just keep on pushing forward. I'm just going to keep fighting to do my best. So that's it. And my time will come. Later, sooner or later, it will come. And I'm sure your time will come too, sooner or later. As long as you keep believing it, as you keep putting the work in, and you keep evolving from everything that happens to you. Take care, ladies and gents. And remember, gratitude is the fastest way to raise your vibration so you can attract the life of your dreams. As Bob Proctor said, if you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Taty Forex signing out. Peace.